All good so far? Any questions? Any questions on load balancer? Multi? It works. I mean, are you getting any error or un- unhealthy? So you should verify your EC2 instance. Basically, I told you 3 points. One, then it will come second time also. It will. Why? Because until unless you modify security group, nothing changes, right? Okay. So otherwise, have you rebooted your instances? No, right? So then it will work. So you need to take care about your EC2 instance security group. Okay. You try again now. Okay. So as you said, it's working first time and not working second time. If it is working first time, my assumption it will definitely work second time also. So you may be somewhere misconfigured something. That might be the issue. So the reason, okay, might be your EC2 instance security group or your load balancer security group or health check, whatever path you are configuring, right? So you just need to verify these things, nothing more. Okay. You just verify this and definitely it will come to healthy state. You do one thing manually. For example, if that pipeline mechanism is not working or you are not able to get web page with somehow after some time, you do one thing, just open port 80 for everyone at instance level and verify with direct instance IP address. Okay. So if you're able to get web page with direct instance IP address, okay, now come to load balancer settings. Total three components, right? One is EC2 instance, second one is load balancer, and third component is security group. Among only three settings. So just verify all the three settings. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah, that's expected behavior, right? దాంట్లో తప్పేం లేదు కదా. So whenever you enable stickiness, all your session will stick to only one EC2 instance. So you take another session or you ask someone to access it. Their request may go to web server 1. Yeah. You take incognito mode, you take Firefox. In Firefox also you take private tab mode or you take any other browser like Edge or Safari. You try it or try it from mobile. So definitely your request will go to multiple server. Yeah. It's sticking to only one server. That's why your all requests are going to web server 2. Yeah. So the stickness will come from your session. Whenever you are trying to access, it might stick to web server 1. So for coming 1 hour or 2 hours or coming 7 days, that's the maximum duration you can define. So for coming 7 days, all your requests will go to web server 1 only. But at the same time, this guy also accessing, he is also accessing. For example, his request may go to web server 2, just like you. But his request may go for web server 1. In this scenario, his request is delivering, your request is delivering, but all his requests are going to web server 1 and your requests are going to web server 2. So you are seeing only web server 2 responses just because of your session is skipped to web server 2. That doesn't mean web server 1 is unhealthy and all. Any other questions, guys? So you clear with load balancer concept? Yeah. Yes, it will. So whenever you enable sticky, these things you can give a try, right? So you got a doubt. So what's stopping you to give a try? You enable stickiness. Okay, your all requests are going to web server 2 now. You stop web server 2 and give a refresh, and you can test it what happens, right? Yeah. Okay, so here in today's session, we are going to discuss about auto scaling group. In our last session itself, I have given very brief introduction to auto scaling group. Okay, so the logic or mechanism is very simple. It automatically scales our resources. It automatically scales our resources. Okay, so when coming to this auto scaling, the first thing I need two EC2 instances to deliver my web server or my application required at least two EC2 instances. Forget about minimum, maximum, all those mechanisms. Always my application need to run with two EC2 instances to deliver all the client requests. Sometime traffic is queues, sometime traffic is less, doesn't matter. Okay. But if something happened to one of the EC2 instance, I don't want to do any manual operation. See, if something happened to one of the EC2 instance, I have a golden AMI, I can go and launch manually. Yeah, you do it manually. Then don't depend on automation. So same thing, we can do it manually, right? But you always need to monitor, okay, whether two instances are running or not, whether two are healthy or not. You always need to verify that. Okay. So, but I really don't want to verify that manually. I don't want to do any operation manually. I need two EC2 instances. If something happened to one of the EC2 instance, another one should come automatically. Something happened to both the EC2 instances, I should get two more instances automatically. Why? Because I have set up desired count as a 2. If you set desired count as a 3, automatically one more server will come along with that existing 2. Okay. If something happened to 3, automatically you will get 3 more instances. So AWS always verify what exactly our desired count is, what exactly our desired count and actual count. So desired count. So you can choose, okay, my application need to run with 2 instances or 3 instances. Actual count. Actual count means how many actually running now in our AWS EC2 console. For example, you have set up desired count as a 3, but actually 2 instances only running. There is a difference between desired count and actual count, right? What is the difference? 1. So AWS will add one more EC2 instances. It always try to match your desired count with actual count. So now, after some time, something happened to all these 3 EC2 instances. Now we have 0 EC2 instances, no instance in running state. But what is our actual count, desired count? Our actual count is 0. So then immediately AWS will launch 3 EC2 instances. So it always try to match your desired count with actual running EC2 instances. Okay. So that is the auto scaling group concept. Okay. We will basically, it involved with lot of options. What I will do here is I will make it small chunks, small parts. Okay. We'll go part by part. So first, I'm not involving any launch configuration, all those settings. My requirement, I want you to understand this desired count and actual count. So I'll create one auto scaling group. Okay. I'll take a plain EC2 instance first. I'll create auto scaling group and we will manually delete. I cannot isolate it failure, like, automatically, I cannot make it unhealthy. So what I will do, I manually stop or terminate some EC2 instances and we will observe what exactly happens if we terminate some. That is what we will do as a first thing. All right. Okay. So now in left pane, just scroll down to bottom and here you can see auto scaling. Go to last option, auto scaling groups. Do I have any running EC2 instances now? No. Let's go to these auto scaling groups. create auto scaling group. Okay, here it will ask what is the auto scaling group name. Okay, so I'm going to call it as a my ASG is a name I'm giving. Now it is asking me to choose a launch template. Can we go ahead without any launch template? No. So basically, launch template is a see, I'm saying like, if 2 instances terminated, I want to get 2 more EC2 instances automatically. But you will get 2 more instances, right? What configuration it is going to pick? T2 micro or T3 medium? See, here we are practicing with T2 micro, so that is fine. But so in organization, we are going to have wide variety of configurations, right? Which configuration it is going to pick? If you want to launch an EC2 instance, some primary components are there, right? What are those? What security group you want to pick? What type of instance you want to pick? Key pair, okay, which key pair you want to pick? Which subnet or which VPC you want to launch? Tags, okay, what are the tags you want to add? Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. What AMI you want to pick? That is important, right? That's what the first step is. You gave name and what is the next step? Choose an AMI. What AMI you want to pick? So it will pick an AMI, it will pick a VPC settings, it will pick a key pair, it will pick a security group, right? So these all, we can create it as a template. All new EC2 instances, newly launched EC2 instances as part of this auto scaling group will use a template. Technically, we call the template as a launch template, or we call it as a launch config. Just click on this, switch to launch configuration. Click on switch to launch configuration and go and pick one now. If you don't have any, click on this option, create a launch configuration. I'm selecting this option, create a launch configuration. Okay. So now it is asking me, what is the name you want to give? So my basic launch config. Okay. So then what AMI you want to? It is showing a lot of AMIs, but we don't have any of our custom AMI, right? Golden AMI. If you have any golden AMI, we can simply go and pick that. But we don't have any. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the regular AMI we always select. Here, you see this? This is the AMI ID. I'm going to take it now. Okay. So now what is the instant type? Choose the instant type. I'm selecting as usually T2 micro. Okay. What is the instance profile? That is coming session topic. Storage, 8 gigs is okay for us. Security group. I'm going to select an existing security group, that is a web server SG, or you create a new one. Okay, here is the first option, create a new security group. So then what key pair you want to associate? My Linux KP, I acknowledge, then click on launch config. See, I asked you one question. What are the primary things you require to launch an EC2 instance? AMI, we are selecting here. Key pair, we are selecting here. Security group, we are selecting here. Instant type, we are selecting here. So all the primary options we are selecting here. Now, as part of auto scaling group, if any instance is terminated, automatically we will get a new instance, right? New instance will use all these settings. New instance will use all these settings. Then click on create launch configuration. Now, go back to auto scaling group, give a refresh, select the launch configuration we created. No web page, nothing for now. Okay. Then click on next. In what VPC you want to run? I'm selecting a VPC. Availability zone, you can select, okay, I want to run it in AP South 1A and 1B. I'm selecting it. Then click on next. Now, load balancer, just go with the no load balancer. As I told you, we'll go phase by phase. This is very initial. Just click on next, 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 and create auto scaling group. If you want to give tag, you can give. Okay, I'm going without tags now. So far, do we have any EC2 instances? here in the console? No, but now you see automatically one EC2 instance is creating. Why? Because my desired count is set as a 1. Where we can see that here you can see whenever you select auto scaling group, you see this desired capacity is 1. So what is happening? One EC2 instance is creating here. It is in running state. Okay. Now something happened to this EC2 instance. I manually terminated. So generally, if we terminate an EC2 instance, what happens? It will just terminate. We cannot get it back. But now what happens, whatever the settings we selected, whatever the AMI we selected, whatever the key pair we selected, okay, whatever the security group we selected, with all those settings, we are going to get a new EC2 instance. Why? Because in auto scaling group, our desired capacity is, and how many instances are in running state now? 0. There is a difference between desired count and actual count, right? So what AWS will do now? It will create one EC2 instance. I'm not going to do anything. I'll just give a refresh. It will take a minute. It will just take a minute or two. Okay. So for example, after some time, I changed my mind. I don't need only one EC2 instance. I need 2 EC2 instances. Then I can simply edit this. I can give my desired count as a 2. But you need to take care about one thing. See here, I'm giving my desired capacity as a 2, but maximum capacity, I'm giving only 1. Is it a valid configuration? You watch Bommarillo movie, right? So that guy, gave an option to Siddharth. Choose one option among these. So he's giving only one option, but he's asking us to choose one. So we are saying our desired capacity is 2. Our desired capacity is 2, but maximum is setting as a 1. So what happened? Only one instance will come. So you always need to match this maximum capacity equivalent to desired capacity or more than desired capacity. If I give 10, is this a valid setting? Is this a valid setting? Yes, it is a valid setting. Now I can give 10 here also. This is also a valid setting. So either this desired capacity should equivalent to maximum capacity or less than maximum capacity. Then it is a valid configuration. So now you see here automatically another instance created. Did I launch it? Did I perform anything after creating that auto scaling group? No, right? But it's created automatically. So that is what auto scaling group will do. How to sync up our web server, all those things, keep it aside. But you got the concept now. Okay. So now I changed my mind. As I told you, my desired count, I need 3 EC2 instances. And I'm going to give maximum capacity as a 5. Is this a valid configuration? Yes. Then click on update. Now, again, I'm not going to do anything. Just waiting and giving refresh. You see, automatically 2 more instances are creating. How? What setting it is picking? Whatever the one you have set up in launch configuration, those all setting it is picking. Okay. So these 2 also will come into running state. Now, one thing here, if you terminate your instances from this console for 100 times, 101th time also, it will launch 3 instances. If you done your practice, once you're done with your practice, go and delete auto scaling group. Just terminating instance of here doesn't solve your problem, or whatever instance you want to terminate, right? It will again automatically create 3 more instances or 2 more instances. So after your practice, delete auto scaling group. Terminating your instance again will create how many, whatever value you define here, those many instances it will create automatically. Clear with this concept? Now, 2 challenges here. First of all, whatever the instances we have launched, it's just a plain or brand new instances. Is it delivering our web page or web content? No. Okay. So if a user connect to one of the web server, if they perform some modification, so that will limit it to that particular instance only. We'll talk about that in our next session, EFS, tomorrow. Okay. So, but the thing is, every instance is an individual one and it is not delivering any content. I have not performed any installation. It is a brand new one. So, but I want to deliver a custom web page. That is the first thing. Second thing is, okay, so every individual instance have its own IP address. This every instance have its own public IP address, right? I want to give a single point of contact for these three instances. For end customer, I cannot give this public IP address. For example, okay, you have given public IP address only. Something happened to that particular EC2 instance and this instance is terminated. Then what happened? You will get a new instance. That new instance will come with new public IP address. Again, are you going to share that new public IP address with client? If so, how many times you are going to share? Okay, so I am looking for a single point of contact. I'm looking for a single point of contact for all the instances running as part of this auto scaling group. So I want to depend on a load balancer. Okay, so first thing, we need a golden AMI. Why? Because whenever any instance is coming as part of this auto scaling group, it need to deliver a web page. That is the first thing. Second thing, how many instances are launching as part of this auto scaling group? I really don't want to maintain any public IP address. So only one load balancer DNS name. If any new instance comes, that should register to load balancer automatically. If any instance is deleted, that should remove from load balancer automatically. So I need golden AMI, I need load balancer, I need launch configuration. So then I need auto scaling group. Total 4 primary components involved in this auto scaling group. Okay, clear so far? Any questions? Okay, I'll delete all these things now. Just observe, I'm not terminating instances from here. I'm selecting auto scaling group, delete. Just type delete, click on delete. And you see here, these instances running part of auto scaling group also deleting automatically. Now, quickly, I'm going to launch a plain EC2 instance and I'll create a golden AMI. Okay. Base instance, Amazon Linux, key pair, I'm going to choose my Linux KP. Security group, I'm going to choose an existing one. My Linux SG is fine, then launch instance. I'll quickly get connected to it and I'll make it as a web server. Then I'll create a golden AMI. All right. So the instance is in running state now. Grab the public IP address. Okay, navigate to the key pair location. CD. Key pairs. SSH-I. My Linux KP EC2-user. At the rate. Give your public IP address. Type yes. Sudo space su. Clear in the screen. All right. So now I want to do some customizations here. So first thing, service stdpd start. Yum install stdpd. -y. So we installing the service now. Service HTTPD start. chk config HTTPD on. All right. Now go to var www.html index.html and I'm giving like a header. This is my ASG web page auto scaling group. ASG means header 1, press escape :WQ. I'm creating another file called status.html. I'll tell you why I'm creating status.html. This instance is healthy. Okay, so I created two files here. Let's test the output. Go here, grab the instance public IP address, give that here. All right, it is working fine. Just reboot and double verify whether the service is starting automatically or not. Okay, just reboot and verify. Why? Because we are going to create auto scaling group with the AMI we are going to create based on this instance only. So I'm selecting this instance, go to actions, image and template, create image. Image name, I'm calling it as a golden AMI version 1. Okay, I'm calling it as a golden AMI with Apache web server. Then scroll down and click on create image. Now, and golden AMI creation is initiated now. It's in pending state. Once it got created, we can go and we can delete that existing EC2 instance. We no longer required it. Okay, meanwhile, I'll go and create a load balancer, a plain or empty load balancer. Just a brand new load balancer without any EC2 instances. Go to target group first, create target group. Instances, and I'm going to call this as a ASG ELB is the name I'm giving. Health check, I'm going to perform it to status.html. Why status.html? Why can't we give index.html? See, index.html is actually delivering our web page. Performing health check on same page will put some more load actually. So these health check we can offload to different file. So for that, I'm just giving status.html file here. Otherwise, you can simply give slash. That also works. Okay, but standard way is we gave this file paths. Click on next. As I told you, I'm not going to add any EC2 instance. Whatever the instances are going to create as part of auto scaling group, that should register to this target group automatically. Okay, and that should deliver with the DNS name of our load balancer. So created a target group, navigating to load balancers, create load balancer. I'm taking application load balancer. I'm calling it as ASG ELB. Internet facing. I'm selecting multiple subnets. Security group. I'm going to choose ELBSG. Port number 80, I'm redirecting to ASG ELB. Scroll down, create load balancer. Now, this load balancer is going to create. If I try to access this DNS name, what status code it will show? HTTP status code. We don't have any healthy instance, but load balancer is there. It is created and it is active. What status code it might show? 200, 300, 400 or 500?
300 redirection.
So is it our problem? All right, load balancer is there. We are able to get the load balancer. Whoever is the administrator, that guy not configured any server to deliver request. So that is a server side problem. So we will get server side error here.
Fine.
So yeah. So they are not redirecting anywhere. So we won't get any redirection. And that too, our request is not delivered. So we don't get 200. What about this AMI status? Let's verify once. Okay, AMI creation is completed. So I'm going to terminate this EC2 instance. I no longer required it. So I did two steps. One is I created a golden AMI. Why I created golden AMI? To deliver my custom application. Then second step, I created a load balancer. What are all the instances launching as part of auto scaling group? Those need to add it to my load balancer automatically, and it need to have a single point of contact. For example, if I terminate an EC2 instance, another instance will create, right, in auto scaling group. That another instance also should add it to load balancer automatically, and it need to deliver via DNS name. So that should happen automatically. So for that, we created a load balancer. So this load balancer is active. Here is a DNS name. Let's give the DNS name here and verify. You see, 500 service temporarily unavailable. So that means load balancer is fine, but backend there is no server to deliver this request. Okay. So now, so you got this thing. Why we created all golden AMI and why we created load balancer? You're good so far. Can we go ahead and create our auto scaling group now? Okay, I'm deleting an existing launch configuration. I'll create a new one. Create launch configuration. That is the first step. What is the name you want to give? My ASG. What AMI you want to pick? Click here. Golden AMI we created. Select it. What instant type you want to pick? Go here. Select T2 micro. Then scroll down. 8 gigs is a volume we associated security group. Select an existing security group or you create a new one, but make sure you open port number 80. That is important. I'm selecting web server SG. Key pair, I'm going to select my Linux SG. I acknowledge, then click on create launch configuration. One launch configuration is now created with our golden AMI. Step 1 completed. Now, go to auto scaling group. Okay, click on create auto scaling group. What is the auto scaling group name you want to give? My ASG. Okay, so then what is the launch configuration? Click on switch to launch config and select launch configuration you created, my ASG. Okay, then this is what the security group, this is what the AMI, this is what the key pair, this is what the name, it is picking. Then click on next. Now in what VPC you want to run? I'm going to choose multiple subnet AP South 1A and 1B. For example, you are selecting your desired count as a 2. Okay, but you are selecting only AP South 1A now. What happens? Both the instances will create only in AP South 1A. If you select 4 as a desired count, all the 4 instances will create only in AP South 1A. AWS always recommend us to scale our resources across multiple availability zones evenly. So whenever you're creating auto scaling group, create 2, 4, 6, 8. No odd numbers, only even numbers is recommended. Can't I select 3? Of course you can, but that is not a recommended setting. You can create whenever any instance termination comes, so that additional instance only first delete. For example, you selected 3, but you selected only 1 availability zone. All 3 will create here. So if any instance need to terminate, AWS will pick one and it will terminate automatically. Okay, so that is a recommended setting. So the best thing is, best part is you need to select 2. Now, if you select 2 instances, one will run in 1A, another will run in 1B. If you select 4, 2 will run here, 2 will run here. Okay. So I'm selecting 2 subnets. Then click on next. Now, load balancer. Do you want to add any load balancer? We already created and kept it ready. But we don't have any healthy instances. So I'm selecting attached to an existing load balancer. Choose from your load balancer target group, go and select ASG ELB. I'm selecting it. If on the go, if you want to create a load balancer, you can do that. Select attach to a new load balancer. What type of load balancer? What is the name you want to give? Internal or internet facing? What port you want to give? You can select that. But standard way is create manually first, then use it. Attach to an existing load balancer. Choose from your load balancer target group. I'm selecting now. Health check, it will perform EC2 health check and ELB health check if you enable this. So that's not a big thing. Just go with the default options now. Then click on next. Now, group size and scaling policies. What is your desired capacity? My desired capacity is 2. But minimum and maximum, you take care about this. Maximum, I'm going to give 3 or 4. Minimum is 1, maximum is 4, but desired capacity is 2. At what time it need to run with 1, at what time it need to run with 4, I'm not selecting anything. Okay, just scroll down, click on next. You want to give any tags? You want to get any notifications? You want to get any notifications when something happens? You go and select an SNS topic. Okay. Then click on next. Tags, you give a tag. I'm going to call this as a ASG instance. Tag new instances. What are all the instances we are going to launch as part of this auto scaling group? Those all instances will come with this tag. Okay, I'm giving the tag here. Then click on next. This is a review screen. Then click on create auto scaling group. So do we have any instances now? Do we have any running instances now? No. Now click on create auto scaling group. Now how many instances we are going to get? Why? Our desired capacity is 2. What AMI it is going to pick? Our golden AMI. Why? We defined that in last configuration. Okay. Whatever the 2 instances created here, what happened with the 2 EC2 instances? Those 2 registered to the load balancer automatically. These 2 instances, see, earlier our output is 503 service temporarily unavailable. Just remember this. Okay. So we have a load balancer, right? Whatever 2 new EC2 instances we have launched, those 2 will register to this target group automatically. You see here? And both are healthy. Did I manually perform it? No, it did automatically. So this target group is associated to a load balancer. So this load balancer will now deliver the web page. You see here? So if you take this in architectural diagram or in a simple diagram, first we created a golden AMI and we created a load balancer. Now what is happening? With the help of this golden AMI, we created a launch configuration. Okay. With the help of this launch configuration, we created a auto scaling group. In auto scaling group, we have selected, okay, I need 2 instances with all the settings. Those all settings is coming from launch configuration. So 2 instances are creating. 2 instances are creating automatically. These 2 added to load balancer also automatically. But what operating system, what are the things it is using from this launch configuration? It is taking. And it is registering to the load balancer automatically. When any user trying to access this, we are getting output from here. Now, something happened to one of these EC2 instances. What happens now? It will create another EC2 instance that added to load balancer automatically. If something happened to both of these EC2 instances, then what happened? 2 more instances will create automatically. It will add it to load balancer automatically. Okay. So these are the components. To deliver the web page or to deliver our real application, we are depending on Golden AMI. To give a single point of contact, these terminations, creations should not affect end user requests. So for that purpose, we are creating it. So take a load balancer and give single point of contact. So then it will happen. So this is a diagram. Now let's go and verify this. You see here, two instances are in running state. Now, due to some issues, one of the EC2 instance is down. Now what happened? Automatically it will create one. Or else, okay, both the instances are down now. Both instances are down. So what happens now? This auto scaling group will detect that what is the activity, what is the desired count, instance management. It will tell us whether it is in service or not. Once it detected that EC2 instances are terminated, it's terminated, right? Now, no output, nothing. Again, service unavailable. Okay, so let's wait for a minute or two and we will observe what happens. You see here, another instance is creating automatically. That added to load balancer. Even now, do this target group have any resource now? Does it have any instances? No. Let's wait for a minute. I'm not going to perform anything, just to refresh. See here, newly launched instance added to target group automatically. It's healthy. So far, this website is down, but now it is working. So, but only one healthy instance is there. We will definitely get another one. Why? Because here there is a difference. You see here, it's terminating. It's unhealthy. It detected that. It is going to create a new one. And under activity also, you see here, auto scaling group is replacing an unhealthy instance. There is an instance that was taken out of service. Why? Because health checks are failing. Okay. So now there is a difference, right? So it will automatically fill up the difference. So now it is running with 2. If I decided to run 3 instances, I can simply go here and I can change this value. One more will come. Okay. So this is a auto scaling group with load balancer and Golden AMI. Now, this is all like, manually we are deciding how many servers we required. So now why we need the minimum count and maximum count? See, we can directly have only one field, right? So I need 2 servers. Okay, my application will run with 2. I need 3. I can select that 3 as an option and it will run with 3. What is the meaning of why we have that minimum and maximum? So far, whatever option we discussed, right? It's just a manual scaling. We created, we are delivering. Okay. But we have an advantage with this auto scaling group. That is, based on load of our servers, we can scale automatically. For example, now my application is running with 2 EC2 instances. But the CPU utilization of these instances is just a 5% or less than 5% CPU utilization. When CPU utilization is less than 5%, that means we are not able to utilize one EC2 instance also properly. There is no usage actually. Do we really need 2 EC2 instances? You're wasting resources. You are additionally paying some amount to AWS. Okay, fine. That is one scenario. Now you have 2 EC2 instances. But these EC2 instances are running with 95% CPU utilization. So the resources you selected is overutilized. You are putting very, very heavy load. Okay. So 2 EC2 instances is not sufficient. If you add one more EC2 instance also, it is okay. You are nowhere wasting any resource. Additionally, you are not paying anything. Okay. So now, instead of going for a fixed count, what we can do is we can configure minimum and maximum. Whenever load is very, very less, automatically I want to run only one EC2 instance. Whenever load is very, very high, automatically I want to run 4 EC2 instances. When load is moderate, so then I want to run with my desired count. So 2 instances. Okay. So you can see the diagrammatically here. See, desired count is 2 instances are there. So whenever you are creating an auto scaling group, okay, not here. Oh, whenever we select for the first time, then only we will get it. There is a diagram. Yeah, this one. You see here, whenever load is very, very high, it is running with maximum size. Whenever load is very, very low, it running with minimum. Whenever load is moderate, running with desired. See, these not running always. These two also not running always. Okay, based on the load, it is scaling automatically. The simple. Whenever CPU utilization is 90% or more, I want to run with maximum utilization, that is 4. When CPU utilization is like less than 10%, then I want to run with only one instance. What about 11 to 89? It run with this desired capacity. Okay. So this is a mechanism. Got it now? We can configure the scalings on our existing auto scaling group, or while creating it also, we can apply. So I'll show you that now. Theoretically, is it clear, guys? It won't consider only one EC2 instance load. It will take a group metric. For example, currently 2 instances are running. So will it take only one instance CPU utilization and all? No. It will take 2 instances CPU utilization. Whenever that CPU utilization is more than 90%, it automatically runs with 4. Whenever it is very, very less, it runs with 1. So that's the reason we are defining minimum and maximum capacities. Okay. So let's go to automatic scaling. The first one is dynamic scaling. The name only telling dynamic scaling. So dynamically, it will scale up and scale down, or scale in or scale out. Second one is predictive scaling. What exactly predictive means? We are guessing. So we are analyzing the previous performance and we are guessing future load. For example, how many runs Surya Kumar may score in New Zealand tour? Depends on World Cup form. He can score lot runs, right? So we are considering previous one and we are predicting future, not real time. Real time is dynamic scaling. Predictive is a prediction. Okay. So let's go with the dynamic scaling now. Schedule, I'll talk about that. Click on create dynamic scaling. Now go with the simple scaling. Give a name. Low usage is a scaling policy name I'm giving. Now we need to create an alarm. Okay. Click here. If you have any, you select. But this is our first alarm, right? Click on create a CloudWatch alarm. CloudWatch is responsible for these alarms. Now select a metric. Click on select metric. select EC2 by auto scaling group. Now, here different metrics available: network metric, disk metric, CPU metric. Okay, so go and choose CPU utilization, that is most commonly considered metric. Select CPU utilization. Okay, then click on select metric. Now, in this auto scaling group, whenever CPU utilization is greater than or equal, or just greater than, or less than or equal, or only less than. So currently we are configuring low usage, right? So I'm selecting less than or equal to 10%. Whenever CPU utilization is less than or equal to 10% for a period of 15 minutes, for a period of 1 hour, then this alarm is going to trigger. So this is what current usage. This is what current usage, this blue color dot, okay? Okay, so whenever our EC2 instances, CPU utilization is less than 10%, for 15 minutes, this alarm will trigger. When this alarm trigger, what need to happen, that we will configure. Then click on next, leave everything to default. Okay, so choose an existing SNS topic. Then click on next. What is the alarm name you want to give? Low usage alarm. Then create alarm. Okay, so one alarm now created. So go here, select that alarm. Now, just observe this thing. We are not performing any complex things, guys. Whenever load is less, we are changing desired count. Whenever load is high, we are changing desired count. When desired count is changed, what happened? AWS will delete or will create automatically. That's it. No complexing, nothing. Okay. Whenever the CPU utilization is less than or equal to 10% for one consecutive period of 900 minutes, that means 15 minutes. So then set the desired count to 1. Or you set desired count to 2. When this alarm is triggered, what happened? The desired count is going to set to 1. Or you can even add 2 instances to existing one, or remove 1 instance from existing one. But this is a standard one. I'm going to set my desired count as a 1. The logic is very simple. What are all the instances running inside our auto scaling group? If those instance CPU utilization is less than 10%, for any 15 minutes, it will change the desired count to 1. Then create. So this is one alarm. This is okay. But what about high usage? Create one more. Create dynamic scaling policy. Simple scaling policy. High usage. Now create an alarm. Select metric. Select EC2 by auto scaling group. And I'm selecting CPU utilization. Whenever CPU utilization of these EC2 instances for 15 minutes is greater than or equal to 90%, then choose an SNS notification. We will get alerts, nothing more. Then click on next, alarm name, high usage alarm. Click on next, create alarm. Fine. When we go here, whenever this alarm got triggered, what do you want to do? I want to set my desired count to 4. Why? Because load is very, very high. Then create. Now you see, this is whenever CPU utilization is less than or equal to 10. Okay, I have not selected 90. I have not selected 90. I selected 10. Where is that? Okay, I selected 90. But why it is showing 10 here? Okay, 100 seconds. But CPU utilization less than or equal to 10, it is showing, right? I think I selected wrong metric. Yeah, this I need to select. Yeah. Okay, you see here, whenever CPU utilization is greater than or equal to 90%, set desired counter to 4. Whenever CPU utilization is less than or equal to 10%, set capacity to 1. Okay. So now, just go to details, and earlier our desired capacity is 2, but now it is set to 1. How? Did I change it? No, right? So whatever the scaling policy we configured here, this one is already executed. Hey Avinash, how you are saying that already executed? Go to activity. You see here, a monitoring alarm, low usage alarm is triggered. So the desired capacity changed from 2 to 1. Why it is triggered? My existing instance utilization is very, very, very less than 10% from last 15 minutes. So it triggered automatically. Okay. So that is a automatic scaling based on the load. Now, no need to worry, like, what exactly our application utilization is and all. You set this alarm and you forget about the load. When load is very, very high, it runs with all 4 instances. When load is very, very low, it just runs with only 1 instance. Clear with this mechanism? Any questions? Okay, I hope that answers your question, Roshan. You asked about minimum and maximum capacity, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Avinash, I have one more doubt.
Yeah,
Actually, suppose our load is very, very high. Okay, we
yeah,
set maximum capacity 4 instance. Okay, so we
yes,
got a very huge load. Okay, so
yeah.
in such cases, what will happen? It's not handled by
Okay.
4 instance.
If it is even not handled by 4 instances, AWS will create only 4 and it will stop there. Whether
Okay.
it is handling the request or not handling the request doesn't matter. So it is going to take this maximum capacity. It will create only 4 EC2 instance and it will deliver. However, we can configure monitoring at our instance level also. Whenever load is very, very, very high, we can get an alarm. So
Okay.
based on that alarms, we can take an action on our resources. And that is how exactly it works in real environments also. We will get alerts. Whenever CPU utilization is more, so then automatically we will get an alert and immediately we will log in and we will verify which service causing that and all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Now we have another scaling option called scheduled scaling. The name only telling it's a scheduled. Scheduled. So at what time the load is going to be very, very high, at what time the load is going to be very, very low. For example, so this Monday, we are assuming load is it's going to be very, very low. But this Friday, we are assuming load is going to be very, very high. This Friday, load is going to be very, very high. We know when load is going to be very high, when load is going to be very, very low. So in that scenario, what we can do, we can configure a scheduled scaling. Friday morning, I want to set my desired capacity to 4. Friday evening, I want to set my desired capacity to again 2. Okay. Friday morning to Friday evening, I'm expecting heavy load. So the scaling need to happen with a specific time period. At a given time, it need to change the value. So for that, we can depend on this schedule scaling. So currently I'm deleting this existing one. If you want, you can even keep it in disable state. Later, you can delete it. Here you can find the status. So when coming to scheduled actions, Now, what is my desired capacity? 1. So how we can confirm? Only one instance is in running state now. Okay. So click on create scheduled action. What is the name you want to give? Okay, one time I configure. So now time is exactly 10 a.m. At 10:02, I want to set my desired capacity as a 3. Desired capacity 3. If you want to adjust minimum capacity and maximum capacity also, you can give. Otherwise, you can leave it. If these, whatever value you are entering here, if it is less than your maximum capacity you already configured, then ignore it. Otherwise, you can set up your minimum and maximum. At what time? Once, or you can give a cron job, or for every 5 minutes this need to happen, for every 1 day, or every week it need to happen. I'm going with only once. At what time? Time zone, I'm going to select Kolkata time zone, our local. So today, that means 14th November at 10:02, I'm setting my desired capacity as a 3. Then click on create. Now you see here, our current desired capacity is just 1. Okay, whenever the scheduled time frame hit, automatically this desired capacity is going to change. You see here, now it 10:02, right? It's 10:02. What happened? The desired capacity is now changed to 3. How? That schedule scaling automatically changed this value. Now, so far, how many instances we have? 1. Only 1 in running state, right? Now, if you give refresh, you see here, automatically another one also coming. So, based on load, we can change the desired capacity value. Based on time, we can change, or manually also we can change. 3 options available. Got it? And when coming to the scaling policy, AWS recommend us to go with the target tracking scaling policy. Target tracking scaling policy. So that you just need to give, okay, my EC2 instance average CPU utilization is going to be 80. Then AWS manage everything on behalf of us. You manually no need to configure anything. So it's completely under AWS control. So that is a recommended one. But however, if you want to have control and all, then you can go with the remaining simple scaling or step scaling policies. You see here, now our application is running with 3 instances. These 3 already registered to our target group and it is delivering here. Okay. Clear so far? Any questions? Is this looking complex?
No, sir. Simple only. Yeah, clear, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, what is the desired capacity, sir? Meaning?
Desired capacity means how many you actually need. How many you need it in running state. Whenever moderate load is there. The logic is very simple. Now, what we are configuring, whenever CPU utilization is less than or equal to 10%, I want to run only 1 instance.
Okay.
And also I'm configuring whenever CPU utilization is 90%, I decided to run with 4 instances. Now, what about 11 to 89? We need to define something, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
during this 11 to 89, our instance runs with desired capacity. This is minimum, this is maximum, this is desired capacity.
Okay, desired capacity.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Now, 2 more points on top of this auto scaling group. See, whenever you listen this for the first time, right? It looks a bit complex. But if you practice, it's not so complex one, it's easy topic only. But we have a lot of options available. That's the reason. Okay. So, and again, in real environments, very, very less scenarios, we go with this option. Very, very less. Okay. The reason, we know how many clients are onboarding, when they are going to onboard, what capacity we actually required, and we can take maintenance windows and we will scale up and we'll scale down. Okay. So very, very, very less scenarios only we will use it. But you need to know it's a good feature that available with almost all cloud providers. In Azure also we have this. We call it as Azure scale sets. Same mechanism. Here also same mechanism. Right.
Sir, in Azure, what is the name,
One
sir?
second. One. So Azure scale sets. Yeah, please go ahead.
Scale size. Azure scale sizes, sir.
Yeah.
Auto scaling group, Azure scales.
No. I missed your question. Can you repeat that? Schedule? Yes. Yes. Yeah, see, one thing you need to observe here. We are always changing this desired capacity. But for example, now I have 3 EC2 instances. I assumed I'm going to get heavy load, but there is no load at all. But still, you guessed it wrong. So it's a human error. AWS will create 3 EC2 instances. AWS will automatically create 3 instances regardless of actual load. If you want to go based on load, go with the dynamic scaling. AWS will add resources based on the load, but schedule scaling based on time frame. At this time, it changes the value. Whether load is there or no load doesn't matter. When that clock trigger, then it changes the desired capacity value. Okay, so now 2 points here. One is, okay, now, so these EC2 instances, currently I have 3 EC2 instances. All 3 EC2 instances are running with T2 micro. Now my client came and asking, hey Avinash, these T2 micros are very low for our actual usage. I want you to upgrade it, but without any downtime. I don't want to take any downtime. With zero downtime, I want to upgrade these EC2 instances types. How we can do that? Any guess? Yeah. Any other? Anyone from online? Without any downtime, I want to, for example, you might you might get this answer like, okay, I can stop this instance. I can go and change the category. So then it will run with like, T3 medium or another category. But future, if this instance terminate, what happened? We will get another instance. But what setting it is going to pick again? T2 micro only it will pick, right? So changing instant type here don't solve that issue. So what you need to do? These instances, from where it is getting the settings? From Golden AMI it is getting the web page, but from launch configuration. You remember launch configuration? Launch configuration is giving security group, AMI, key pair, instant types. These all coming from launch configuration, right? So create a new launch configuration. Change your auto scaling group launch configuration. Terminate one by one. Set desired capacity as a 3. Terminate this EC2 instance. So there is a difference. Desired capacity and actual capacity. AWS will create a new instance. Then what configuration it will pick? New launch configuration it will pick. I'll show you that now. Okay. So this is what our existing launch configuration setting. And this is associated to our auto scaling group. All right. Now I'm going to create a new launch configuration. Create new launch configuration. Launch configuration version 2. AMI, I'm selecting same AMI. But instance type, I'm selecting T2 Nano. Then click on choose. Now remaining options like, security group and all, you go and select one. Key pair I'm selecting and create launch configuration. I just created a launch configuration. I haven't associated to our auto scaling group yet. But there is a difference here compared to existing one. This is T2 micro, this is T2 nano. Now go to this auto scaling group, edit this. Earlier, it is running with my ASG. Now I'm going with version 2. Earlier, it is running with T2 micro. Now I'm going with T2 nano. Scroll down, update. Fine. Now it is updated, but is it going to delete existing instance and all? No. Now my desired capacity is 3. So I can go here. I'm terminating one of the EC2 instance. Any downtime for my application? No. So some requests are going to that bad gateway. It won't take much time. But you see now, all requests are going to that web server. So if you go here, my desired capacity is 3, actual capacity is 2. So AWS will try to launch a new EC2 instance. While creating new EC2 instance, which setting it is going to pick? This settings. So it will create a T2 nano. It will create a T2 nano. So once this EC2 instance came as a T2 nano, I can go and terminate this. Then what happened? Again, a new T2 nano will come. But am I getting any downtime? No. So technically, we call this mechanism as the blue and green deployment mechanism. Blue and green deployment mechanism. So the logic is very, very simple, guys. Earlier, we have 3 EC2 instances. All 3 older configuration 1. Instead of terminating all 3 at a time, we terminated only 1. So new instance is coming. These 2 still older one only, but only 1 new instance, 2 old instances. Then in second phase, they are going to terminate this one also. Then what happened? 2 new instances, 1 old instance. Then in final phase, we are going to delete this also. Then what happened? All 3 new instances. So are we getting downtime anywhere? Here 2 instances are healthy, here 2 instances are healthy, here 2 instances are healthy, here all 3 instances are healthy. So end customer nowhere getting any downtime. Okay, so that basically we call it as a blue and green deployment mechanism.
Means servers are always up and running, sir.
Yes, you see here, this is T2 nano, 2 micros are running and 1 nano is running. Now we got our desired setting. So now if I go and terminate this, it will terminate. I'm going to get another T2 nano. Once I got that as a T2 nano, I can go and terminate this one also. I'm going to get another T2 nano. So from old configuration to new configuration without any downtime, we are migrating.
Sir, nano is chargeable, sir.
Nano is chargeable. Only micro comes under free tier eligibility. You guys practice with only T2 micro.
Okay,
I want to explain this feature, so I'm using T2 nano. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. One final option on this auto scaling group. All right. So that is, for example, now I went here. For example, my desired capacity is 3. Now I'm changing this value to 2. Then click on update. Now what happened? AWS need to terminate one of the EC2 instance among these 3. Which one it is going to pick? Which one it is going to pick? This is a interview question. This is an interview question. Okay. So which instance it is going to pick? Will it pick randomly, or is there any logic? Will it follow any mechanism or flow chart? Yes. There is a diagram for this. That also one part, first in, first out also. Where is that? Where is that? Yeah, this one. So whenever any scaling option is triggered, that means AWS want to terminate one of the EC2 instance. Technically, we call it as a scaling. Okay. So first it will verify Are there instances in multiple availability zones? In our case, yes or no? Yes. Some in 1A, some in 1B. So now select the availability zone with most instances. So 1A have 3, 1B have 2. Which one it will pick? 1A. So that's the reason AWS recommend us to scale resources evenly across multiple availability zones. So if if we have 2 availability zones and 2 here, 2 here, so this condition won't come. So then it will come here. Select instance with oldest launch configuration. If you observe here, our setting, this is running with one launch configuration. These are running with different launch configuration, right? It will pick one of the instance from oldest launch configuration. It will pick one instance from oldest launch configuration. So then it will pick whatever the instance closest to next billing hour. Which is closest to next billing hour? At what time it is launched? At 9:44. This is at 10:02. This is at 10:11. Which one is closest to next billing hour?
First one.
9:44. The first one. Yeah. So AWS will pick this instance and it will terminate. If multiple instances launch at a time, including seconds also, it will launch. At a time, it's launched. So then AWS pick one instance randomly and it will delete. So first scenario, availability zone. Which availability zone have more number of instances? First scenario. Second, whether it is running with same launch configuration or different launch configuration. Third, which one is closest to next billing hour? These 3 points it will consider and it will terminate an instance. As per our setting, it will pick this instance and it will terminate. Okay. So that is a auto scaling group termination policy. In interview, you might get a question. Okay. So that's the auto scaling group mechanism. So don't make it as a complex one. Go phase by phase. Go phase by phase. First, create a golden AMI. Second, create a load balancer. Third, create an auto scaling group. Okay. So you already know golden AMI mechanism. You already know load balancer. Now, only thing you are using that existing two and you are creating an auto scaling group. So go phase by phase here. Okay. So create auto scaling group with version 1 config. Set desired capacity as a 2 and test it. Test it means terminate. Terminate 2, you will get 2 more. Terminate 2, you should get 2 more. Configure alarm to set desired capacity as a 1 whenever CPU utilization is less than a 10%. High utilization, I cannot demonstrate. This is desired scaling based on CPU. Okay. Third one is schedule scaling. For example, now at 10:19, I have 2 instances. At 10:25, I want to set my desired capacity as a 3. Then do it, test it. Okay. So that is a auto scaling group. These are the steps involved. Okay. Spare some time and do it, guys. It's free. It won't cost you anything, but make sure you are within T2 micro. You are using only T2 micro. Do not test with any other. Go with only T2 micro. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? I'm going to upload this to our GitHub. I'm uploading that auto scaling group also, auto scaling group image also. Okay, again, don't just terminate instances from this console. So the cleanup process. First, delete this auto scaling group. First, delete auto scaling group. Second, delete launch configurations. Third, go to AMIs, deregister the AMI. Fourth, go to snapshots, delete the snapshot. Fifth, go to load balancer, delete the load balancer. Go to target groups, delete the target group. Go to EC2 console. If any instance is not terminated, don't hesitate to terminate it manually. Okay. So for example, this is still taking some time. Don't wait. You just manually terminate it. All right. So all instances terminated now. Okay. So just even you can go to CloudWatch and you can delete alarms also. Okay. So yeah. Any questions before closing the session? All right. So yeah, then that's it for today's session.